Hello friends, welcome to a new episode of Drishti IAS editorial analysis. In this editorial analysis, we do three things. First of all, we link the editorial to the UPSC CSE syllabus. Secondly, we try to understand the key points of the editorial. And thirdly, if any key concepts have been mentioned in the editorial and which are important from exam point of view, we also discuss them. So let us begin today's editorial analysis.
Dear viewer, this video is available in Hindi as well. If you wish to watch it, please visit our Hindi YouTube channel, Drishti IAS. For your convenience, the link for this video in Hindi has been provided in the description below.
We have taken today's editorial from the Hindu and it has appeared on 12th of Feb. The title of the editorial is Order at the Border and it says, the disengagement at the LAC, which is Line of Actual Control, is vital for the broader relationship with China. Now let us look at its linkage with the syllabus. So we find that it links directly with GS paper 2, where we have international relations as one of the important areas of the syllabus. And under this, it links directly with India and its neighborhood relations because China is one of the most important neighbor of India. And it also links with the bilateral relationship as it deals with the bilateral relationship between India and China, which is also one of its important neighbor. So after establishing the linkage with the UPSC syllabus, now let us look at the key points of the editorial. Before moving on to the key points of the editorial, let us see some of the important salient points related to this dispute between India and China. So in this map, we can see that India and China border is divided into three sectors. The western sector, the central sector, which is the most peaceful and very less dispute is there, and the eastern sector, which is again having a lot of disputes between the two sides. And the India-China border is also referred to as LAC, that is Line of Actual Control. Now the incidents starting from April 2020 onwards, they have taken place mainly in the western sector. And in western sector, we can see this area marked in red. This is basically Aksai Chin and it is under the illegal occupation of China. Very near to this, we have the Karakoram Pass. And also, India has a very important strategic base of Daulat Beg Oldi near the Karakoram Pass, which also has a airstrip at an altitude of 16,000 feet. And India has been trying to upgrade the border infrastructure on its side, and Chinese are not liking that because for a long time China has had lot of advantage in the border infrastructure because border infrastructure was very superior on the Chinese side but in a very primitive state on the Indian side. So they had tactical advantage over India. So China in April 2020 onwards, it made incursions inside LAC and there were four major areas where China or Chinese troops entered into the Indian side of LAC. And these locations were basically in the western sector and we should know them because they were the Pangong Tso Lake area, the Hot Springs Ghogra area, the Depsang Plains, Galwan Valley, where fatal clashes took place between Indian and Chinese troops on 15 June 2020. So Pangong Tso, Hot Springs Ghogra area, Depsang Plains, Galwan Valley were the areas where Chinese troops entered inside the Indian LAC. And that led to this standoff situation which escalated. And since then there has been talks going on between the army commanders of both sides and also including the diplomats to resolve this crisis. And finally, now India and China have agreed to disengage from Pangong Tso area. So now let us look at the location of these important areas as they can be asked in prelims. So in this map we can see here is the Aksai Chin area and this is the line of actual control, LAC, which is passing through this area. And we have this important river Shyok flowing in this area. Then here we have this Pangong Tso lake, and So actually means lake, so we need to call it Pangong Tso. And here this disengagement between the two troops is now going to take place, and this will be followed by the other areas. Here we have the important base of Tolak Beg Oldie near the Karakoram Pass here, and this is the area which we call Depsang Plains. And here a standoff is between the Chinese and Indian troops since 2013. And this is the important area, Galwan Valley, where the fatal clashes took place between Indian and Chinese troops on June 15th. So these are the areas we should know. Now in this map we can see the fingers of Pangong Tso and what is being said about the disengagement. So these are the ridges which are also called fingers, and India has a base called Dhansing Post, Dhansing Thapa Post, which is near finger 3, and the Indian troops would retreat to this post, Dhansing Post, which was the status earlier as far as Pangong Tso is concerned. And the Chinese, they have their post or base at a place called Sirijap 2. So the Chinese are going to move to the east of finger 8 area. So they are going to retreat to this area, and finger 4 to finger 8, this area will become a buffer zone. So there will be no patrolling allowed till some time before an agreement is reached how the patrolling can take place. So neither of the two armies will patrol this region until an agreement is reached. So that has been decided. And the perception of LAC is such that the Indian side feels that the LAC passes through the finger 8 area, while China claims that the LAC passes through finger 2. But now this has been agreed that India will move back to its base near finger 3, and China will move back to its base near east of finger 8 area. And once this disengagement is complete, then within 48 hours, the two sides will start discussing disengagement from other areas like Hot Springs, Gogra, Depsang Plains, etc. So what we need to understand here is that this breakthrough between the two sides on Pangong Tso is a positive development. But India must retain its leverage, which it has gained by a tactical operation which was carried out towards end of August 2020, by which India has been able to occupy the heights on the southern bank of Pangong Tso, and this has given India a leverage over the Chinese side. And India will also need to monitor the progress of disengagement, as there is simply no trust left between the two sides. And the Chinese have been saying that they want to disengage, but they have been looking for opportunities to gain advantage. So India will have to trust and verify, because India cannot simply trust the Chinese. So India will have to do this verification that yes, the Chinese are disengaging as agreed to between the two sides. And this will substantially restore the situation to that existing prior to the standoff. And that has been India's contention, that let us move back to the status that was existing before April 2020, when Chinese started entering into the Indian side of LAC. And once this Pangong Tso disengagement is complete, then the two sides will meet to decide on de-escalation for Hot Springs and Depsang Plains. Now, how this stage has been reached? So, India has used a mix of 4 instruments, which we should know. One is the direct engagement between Indian and Chinese military and diplomats, which has led to this. Second, India also decided to go for a strong military build-up to show to China that it cannot browbeat India. Thirdly, India also took economic measures against China and Chinese investment in India. And India also went for international partnerships, especially with countries like US, to put pressure on China. And the international opinion was also against China, that China had entered into Indian territory. So this was a combination of hard messaging plus pragmatism, which India did pretty well to reach to this point. Now, what made China rethink? So, the basic thing that made China rethink about this was that the Indian decision to capture the heights on the south bank of Pangong Tso, it completely caught the People's Liberation Army off guard, and it provided a strategic advantage to India. So this was a very fine move by the Indian army to capture the heights of the south bank of Pangong Tso and gain leverage over China. Secondly, the strong messaging from India that it cannot be business as usual after China's decision to violate peace at the border. This also had an impact because India banned the Chinese apps and also Chinese companies from working in India, and there was also increased scrutiny of Chinese investments. So China was somewhat hassled by all of these. Now we should also know that what is India's stand on the border standoff. So India wants a solution on the basis of three principles. And what are these three principles? So the first one is that LAC should be accepted and respected by both the parties. Secondly, neither party should attempt to change the status quo unilaterally. And thirdly, all agreements should be fully adhered to by both the parties. So this is what India wants from China, and this is the way for a peaceful resolution of this standoff, and which is in the best interest of both India as well as China. So after this understanding, let us look at some of the key points of the editorial. So the editorial starts by saying that it is vital for broader India-China relationship that this disengagement now is taken to its completion. And it also says that it looks like a promising start towards restoring peace in the border areas. Now, what the Indian Defense Minister has said, he has said that both sides will cease forward deployments on north and south banks of the Pangong Tso in a phased, coordinated and verified manner. So this is important that India has to go for a phased, coordinated and verified disengagement, because the Chinese side cannot be trusted only on the basis of what it is saying. So India will need to verify that this disengagement is taking place on the ground as agreed to between the two sides. On the other hand, the Chinese Ministry of Defense has said that an agreement has been reached between India and China to start synchronized and organized disengagement from Pangong Tso. And to achieve this, both sides are going to observe a temporary moratorium on patrolling in the disputed areas north and south of the lake. And it will also involve withdrawal of the armored elements like tanks from 10th of February onwards, which has already started taking place. And all the frontline personnel will be withdrawn over the next 2-3 weeks. And it has been agreed to between the two sides that the Chinese troops will return to their base east of Finger 8. The base is at Sirijap 2, whereas the Indian troops will return to their base, which is located at Dhansin Thapa near Finger 3. And India has been demanding since the very beginning of this conflict that there is a need to restore status quo ante. That is, the status as it was existing before April 2020. So this restoring of status quo ante has been India's demand from the very outset. And India used to previously patrol on foot up to Finger 8 because there is no motorable road across India's side to areas east of Finger 4. Whereas on the Chinese side, there has been roads built by China which allow them to patrol easily up to Finger 4. So they have superior logistical advantage over India. And this India has been trying to change by building infrastructure on its side of the border, and which has actually alarmed China. And in this context, we should remember the Darbuk Shiok Daulat Beg Oldie Road built by India, which connects Leh to Karakoram Pass. And this road is a great piece of border infrastructure built by India, and this has sent alarm bells ringing in China that now India is catching up with its advantage of border infrastructure. And in the summer of 2020, the Chinese troops had prevented India from patrolling up to Finger 8, which was the starting point of this crisis and standoff. Now, after this agreement, the entire contested area from Finger 4 to Finger 8 will become a buffer zone, and all temporary infrastructure built after April 20 will be withdrawn. So, that has been agreed to between India and China. Now, both sides will also return to their bases south of the lake, and India will vacate the heights it occupied in late August, which gave India much needed leverage to negotiate as well as demonstrated its resolve to match China's actions. Now, this is going to be very tricky for India because the advantage that India got by occupying those heights, so for that, India should try to leverage it to the maximum possible. And because China has been occupying Depsang Plains since 2013, so maybe India can bargain with China that China should withdraw from Depsang Plains and then India will also vacate these heights which it has occupied in late August. Also, the editorial states that the standoff on the north and south banks of Pangong Tso was the most difficult to resolve over 9 rounds of talks between the military commanders of India and China. But now this agreement has been reached. The pending problems remain on the patrolling points 15 and 17A in the Gogra Hot Springs area, which will be taken up within 48 hours after disengagement at Pangong Tso is completed, and also the Depsang Plains area, which is a long-running dispute since 2013. Finally, the editorial talks about a way forward, and it says that the success of this new disengagement plan will depend on how it is implemented on the ground in letter and spirit. This is going to be most critical because even earlier the disengagement plan has been agreed to between the two sides, but it led to this Galwan Valley incident, which was very unfortunate, and 20 Indian soldiers lost their lives in that unfortunate incident, and the casualties on the Chinese sides are still unknown, though there have been media reports that there were heavy casualties on the Chinese side as well. Now, the events of last year have created a lot of distrust, and China's actions on the ground have not always matched to its commitments. So, this is where India will need to be very careful. Also, both sides will have to realize that getting the broader relationship back on track is important for both sides, but for that, peace on the border is a prerequisite. So, the relationship between India and China can be prosperous for both sides only when there is peace on the border. So, that is the message from the editorial and the right message. So, this was all in the key points of the editorial. Now, let us look at what kind of questions can be asked in prelims and mains. So, in prelims, location based questions can be asked. So, one should be very clear about the locations of important places that are coming in news quite often. So, one should be clear about the location of Karakoram Pass, Siachen Glacier, Sakskam Valley, which was ceded to China by Pakistan in 1963, the Daulat Beg Oldie Base of India, which also hosts the highest airstrip at 16,000 feet, the Depsang Plains area, having dispute between India and China since 2013, the important border infrastructure road built by India, Darbuk Shiok Daulat Beg Oldie Road, Galwan Valley location, and the location of this lake, Pangong Tso. Also, we should be clear about the border, that the India-China border is divided into 3 sectors, the western sector, middle sector and the eastern sector. The total border length as per India is around 3,488 kilometers. And here we should also note that the longest border that India shares, the longest land border that India shares with its neighboring country is Bangladesh with 4096 kilometers. Also, we should be clear about the difference between LAC and LOC. LOC is between India and Pakistan in areas of Jammu and Kashmir, whereas LAC is the line of actual control between India and China. And we should also be knowing about McMahon Line, which was agreed to in the Simla Convention of 1914 between the British and the Tibet representatives, and the representative of China was also there, but he signed it, but later on China refused to accept this McMahon Line, though China has accepted McMahon Line as boundary between China and Myanmar. So this shows the double standards of China. Coming to mains, a question can be asked like the resolution of border issue between India and China is key to forging good relations between them. Discuss. So here we should note that India and China have quite differing stands on the border dispute. While for India it remains the central issue, the settlement of the border issue, whereas for China it always wants that other aspects of the relationship should be given more importance and the border issue should get resolved in due course. But now with this conflict, I think both countries should realize that they should demarcate the border as soon as possible. Also, there is critical dependence of India on China for certain products like active pharmaceutical ingredients. So now the Indian government has come up with certain schemes and incentives so that such dependence can be reduced, if not removed altogether. Also, it has to be realized that a multipolar world, which is the aim of both India and China, it requires a multipolar Asia. And this multipolar Asia has enough space for both India and China to grow and prosper. So that should be the way forward for both the countries, that we should have a peaceful border and both India and China should work together to achieve their aims and ambitions in the global arena. So this was all in the editorial analysis. We'll see you next time with another editorial. Thank you.